Now, I, as the game host, suggest what I think is going to work. Reading peering into the infinite sadness will require a roll of mind to be able to perceive it, and supernatural to go ahead and look into it. You're a raven, which means you actually have native supernatural.
Yep, I have a species bonus, 2 different career bonuses, marks in the skill, and a high mind to begin with.
So you have multiple dice, and since this is going to be a simple challenge, we're just going to, I would like you to roll those dice and count the 4s or better. Before you roll, is there any other thing you have that you might modify this roll, like a special gift or elective that I don't know about that you might want to use?
I have the favored use of astrology.
Right. Now that means that if you roll a 1, you'll get to re-roll it. So you'll roll first, and if if any of those come up 1, you can pick one of those to re-roll. So that's what favor does. It lets you re-roll.
All right. So let's see if I need to use it.
All right, so let's go ahead and roll the mind and supernatural.
I am.
Okay.
6, 2, 5, 2, and 2.
Oh, so it shows me the total, but you get to see the breakdown.
When you hover over it, it'll break down what each individual dice roll.
Oh, that's new. Okay. Yeah,
it is fantastic.
I know there's a way to program, skill successes in here. I'm relatively new to Roll20, so we haven't done it. But the good news is you have a 6 and a 5. Which is 2 successes.
There's also this method, which would also show it, but I went with a bracketed method because it's very easy to copy-paste.
Oh, I only know to type /roll and then the dice. Is there a different method for that?
Double brackets.
Double brackets, okay.
There's a few different macro methods that you might want to look into.
So maybe I'll write down a second one to copy-paste in when I need to, but 2 successes on this.
Right, 2 successes. Now, the good news is if you roll only 1s, you could re-roll them. The bad news is you rolled all 2s. So.
Yep.
Bummer. If anyone's also arguing about the nice part about D4s is they roll 1s more often, so you get favored use more often. But hey, so you have 2 successes. So you will peer into the infinite and do a bunch of divinations. And as near as you can tell, after rotating the lodestone, reading the stars, and observing that there is a semi-cupidity in the house of the forlorn woman, that you think that you will be your greatest auspice will be good news is anyone wearing blue, and avoid people wearing metallic things. That is what the infinite has told you.
Yes! I know where I must go now, and I know not to mess with people in armor.
This takes you like 48 hours to come up with. Where you're off doing this and like staring at the sky and drawing lines. Let's go ahead and do Team Gossip. Now with Team Gossip, with Sam and Rakija here, you could both be one, traveling as a group, but when you go to I'm assuming that you're going to interview people on the dock, such as ask around in taverns and see who's selling a boat, and possibly get yourself invited to some. There are also there's the Explorers Society and some professional events. Normally, you can't just walk into those because you have to be somebody. Good news, both Sam and Rakija are somebody. You can flash your signet rings and say, "I'm not nobody," and they'll sit you at the little kids table.
I ain't not nobody.
All right. So the good news is you can go ahead and talk to the upper class. Do any of you actually have the gift of etiquette?
I cannot say that I.
Right. I don't think either of you guys are not. You guys are nobles by birth, not nobles by training. Both of you apparently, spent a lot of time being goofballs, living off of your inheritance. So neither of you are like highfalutin snooty types. Okay.
Not just yet.
Right. Okay, so that would give you a bonus to talk to nobles, but none of you have that. So none of you are obsequious. So you could definitely go talking to people. Now, do you want to have a head person with a wingman who assists them and gives them advice, like don't talk to that guy or bails them out, or what Rakija meant to say is that that jewelry looks good on anyone, not He meant to say that you must have health. You must have great wealth and healthy resources, not that you're fat and have the gout. that sort of thing. So you could have one person be the taskmaster, another one be an assistant, which is, gives a bonus and try to get one really good roll. Or the two of you could spread out and ask different people and come back together, in which case you would roll separately. Now, I'm going to propose for this that in order for this to work, you need to use your mind because you want to have people tell you good stuff. Gossip, which in the rules says you interview several people, so gossip is the ability to discover who's wasting your time and who isn't. And the skill of inquiry, which is after you find people who are worthy of interviewing and their facts, to follow up people and do that Law and Order style interview. You guys have all seen the Law and Order show, right? Am I that old? No one's seen Law and Order anymore.
Which one? It's like
the usual formula in Law and Order is they talk to a bunch of people and then they dum-dum, and then they cut to the chase where they interview the one person who actually matters.
No, I mean, I'm just wondering which one you're talking about. Are you talking about the way old one or
the way old
one? Or SVU, I think it is. That was the actually kind of good one.
In all of them, they pretty much follow a formula. Well, not criminal intent, which is the Columbo one. What I'm trying to get out of here is gossip is the pauses between the breaks. Inquiry is the actual interviews. So that's what I'm suggesting is gossip and inquiry would be the two best skills for this, and you would take all your gossip dice and all your inquiry dice. Because even though I could play this out step by step, I'd rather kind of do a montage for this and just say, first we have you guys wander around the streets and talking to weirdos who point in different directions. And then when you actually meet the people, you start asking them, so that boat, you think someone will buy that? So that's why I suggest for this dice pool, you would take your mind dice, your gossip dice, and your inquiry dice. This is when I start asking, okay, Sam, Rakija, what would be your pools for this? So you guys can decide, what you want to do.
I would probably do this separately, especially given that over this period, I probably would have noticed that the captain is a bit of a drunkard.
Yeah.
Wouldn't entirely rely on her to do the talking.
Now, this is what I ask. Now, you had elective gifts, so do any of you have, you guys can nominate other abilities and powers you think would apply. Like, do any of you have carousing, the ability to hang out in bars? Do any of you have streetwise, the ability to know what criminals are up to?
I have haggling.
I'm going to spot rule that in this case, since you're just looking for charters that are worthy of stealing, haggling wouldn't apply. But if you find a guy who is desperate to sell, you could haggle the price with him. But you're just looking for prospective boats right now. So if you were actually making a negotiation, haggling would apply. So I'm going to say haggling does not apply to this. So anything else?
Have any skills that I'm comfortable using now anyway.
Remember haggling when it comes time to hire the crew.
Does anybody have a high deceit skill?
Deceit?
Yeah.
Yeah. I helped build Nick's character, so I know Rakija doesn't have deceit.
Yeah.
And in which case I would say, this is just trying to find prospects at the moment. This is like you guys spend several days, clicking on people and listening to their long, boring conversation trees. I've got some children. Children, huh? Oh, yeah. I've tried to raise them as little kids and growing up. Little Sari, one day I hope that when she leaves the nest, she's very profitable. That's very interesting. So you said you had a boat.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's like my daughter right here, who I'm hoping will go on to Dunwazer Academy.
Click.
Hold on. I got a great way to skip this conversation tree. All right. Pump deceit. Okay. Activate deceit. You have no children. You're an old man.
Oh my God, my life is a lie.
Yes, the ship is like a daughter that I never had. The daughter that I wish, let me tell you about her.
These are my children, in fact.
If I had one, this is what I would have wanted.
All right. So to get a little back on track here. So in other words, that would be the dice pools. It sounds to me like the two of you want to roll separately because you both have pretty good pools in this. Okay.
Yeah.
And once again, notice the way I'm recommending the GMing style. I ask what you bring to the table, you bring it to the table, then you decide how you want to do it. So, if you guys can be open to other different combinations. I meet some GM people who think the GM dictates everything, right? All right. So, I would like both Sam and Rakija to go ahead and roll. So, you would roll your mind die. You would also roll all of your gossip dice. So if you got gossip from your species, you'd roll that. If you got from your career, you would roll that. And if you put elective marks in it, if you put 3 marks in it, you'd have a bonus D8 to roll. One mark
No.
will give you a bonus D4. Okay.
If I get marks from different places, does that upgrade a die separately, or does that accumulate into one thing?
To clarify, you don't get marks from different places. You have dice. If you have skill marks, that lets you roll a bonus die. It doesn't add to other dice you already have. Marks give you a die. They don't add to other dice.
Okay, so I roll my mind die, and then
So for example,
gossip
if you,
die, and
which
then since my career gives me gossip, I roll my career die with it.
right. So what's your career die?
D8.
And how many marks do you have in gossip?
2, so it's a D6.
Right. So you have a D8 and a D6, not an 8 boosted to a 12. I get people who ask me about that. It's a D8 and a D6. It's 2 dice.
Right. I get that. And then I don't have any skill marks in inquiry, but I can use my career dice with it, so I get a D8.
And you are allowed to double dip. So yes, you would double dip this way. So as you can see, because you're specialized in this, you're pretty good.
Very much like
Now,
me.
Once again, one success in this would get you what any idiot off the street could get just rolling their mind. Obviously, you don't want to steal the boat that any idiot was. The more successes you get, the more we can whittle this down to, hey, it's that one boat by that desperate captain who, All right, so gather up all your mind, gossip, and inquiry dice and roll, and you want 4s or better. This is just a simple challenge.
Okay, I don't know exactly how to then.
So
Okay.
D8. Failed.
Yeah, I think you have to type either. I always type the word roll and then D8. I always do it like that /roll and then D8 plus D8.
Can I do that? No, god damn it.
Without the plus, it doesn't factor in anything else. It stops.
In fact,
You have to add the plus to each of them, otherwise it will not roll all of them. It takes it as an equation.
I really don't know why they don't have.
Okay. I
see,
got all the successes. All right.
The Wizards of the Coast site had like one-touch buttons where you could just push a button and say D8, D8, D6 and roll. And I don't know why they don't do that in Roll20. If anyone has a macro for that, please, for the love of Mike, let me know about it.
Holy shit! What was that roll for?
They don't have a macro for that, but you can create macros for that extremely.
I will get right on that in my copious free time. If anyone wants to know why Hornet Ivory is delayed, I'm busy programming Roll20 macros.
Hey Turtle, what was that roll? Those rolls for that you succeeded on?
Figuring out if anyone is willing to sell a ship or general information about captains in this port.
So in a nice little montage, you spend the day, walking along the docks and meeting people, especially in the Explorer Society. Trying to find a good lead on what would be the best boat, what would be good boats to steal, because there's, this is the Deltan Sultanate. There's thousands of people in the city, and boats come in and out all the time.
As far as I can tell, I'd be rolling it the same way, and I think I got the same numbers. Pretty much the same numbers.
Okay, so Captain Samuel Enderell here rolled 4 successes, and Nicholas here also has 4 successes. 4, 4, 4, 4. All right. Wow. All right. Well, so the two of you know not to waste your time with Penny Ante quests. I mean, there's one guy saying, I need someone to get me 12 red fishes so I can be whatever, on my way, quest giver. Stupid gray level quest. Put your hand on the jackal's face. Shamark! Shove him out of your way. Okay. And so your goal is to find all right. Okay, so
did we roll too well?
Well, no, I'm looking down my list here. I actually have an actual listing here of boats, but some of these people I didn't write down what their species were, and I want to make sure I don't misquote. Sorry, my notes on some of this.
Wait, you want to make sure you don't misquote?
I want to make sure. I want to make sure I don't describe somebody as a jackal in one scene and a zebra in the next.
Oh.
Oh yeah,
kind of funny.
Time to invent the most common species. Anything not listed as anything is X.
Turns out my 623-foot character is actually only 30 feet tall.
Okay. Well, when you visit the Explorer Society, the nice part about hobnobbing with these people is they have they're a decent type the Explorer Society, since they're rich people and they throw like galas, it's kind of like one of those old, I want to say gentlemen's club, but there's also gentlewomen here too, and also they're nobles, so I don't know why I call them gentlemen. Noble clubs where they hang out, introduce people from faraway countries, and show off stuff. Anyone here see The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou, or I'm the only one who's seen that?
The Life of what?
Life Aquatic. It's got Bill Murray in it as a.
I want to say that I have. I cannot recall offhand. I see a lot of movies.
He's a
I've
Jacques
seen
Cousteau type.
World.
This is more like Life Aquatic. Basically, it's you get to go to their clubhouse, which is a converted domed building, and have certain conversations and get drunk. It's awesome. After a few days, though, you manage to get a hold of a couple leads. For example, Sir Eric, who is here from House Rinaldi, belongs to the Minters Guild way back in Triskelion. And so Eric here, over some wine, gets a little drunk and lets it slip that he knows of a cargo fluid that goes by the name of the Blue Harvest. And
which one of us is learning this information?
Let's go with Sam. You guys rolled 4. In fact, both of you will probably pick this up since both of you rolled 4 successes. Okay. So you actually get this information. In fact, I'm also assuming that since you're on the same side, you pull your resources. So Eric keeps talking about this ship called the Blue Harvest, which has a captain by the name of Broussard, who apparently is a wolf. And he's got a problem where his ship is actually in arrears, where some of the people who were in the merchant company have kind of pulled out, and he's probably not going to be able to make his next dock fees when he gets back to either Triskelion or Port Spar, which is the big spar that's the big port that's controlled by the Disclave. So his boat is probably due to be repossessed. It is a cargo fluid that manages to command 8 guns and has a crew of it has a crew of 32. Whether you can do it with less people is a matter of actually going to look at the ship. Wait, you have 4 successes and you have Captain Sam with you?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll also assume that in the montage, like where he just says, "Hey, Sam, you got to talk to this guy. He knows about this boat." And Sarah goes, "That's right. It's a boat. It doesn't sink." But yeah, this Broussard guy, we're going to totally foreclose all over his ass. Because, he's way back doing his payments. Sure, it's a fluid, which has this, they're changing the laws where it used to be that they measured all your docking fees by the size of your deck, which means if any of you guys Google what a fluid boat is, the Dutch East India Company discovered that, hey, they charge us taxes by our deck size. What if we built our boats with comically small, like how small can we get the deck? Like the most cargo, but the tiniest
pyramid ships.
Possible. And so you see these fluids, which are these barrel-shaped ships that are just ridiculous. Like, why? Why did you guys do this? This looks ridiculous. Like, because it's easier to measure the deck than it is to measure the ship. So if we can make the deck really, really tiny, he's like, okay, that's it. And eventually the government says, we're changing the laws. You guys are a bunch of idiots. This is why we can't have nice pirates. So anyway, with the upcoming change in the law, Broussard is either is already in arrears. He's probably going to lose his boat. He's not here. He doesn't come to the Captain Broussard doesn't come to the Explorer Society because he has too many creditors. He has a boat that commands at least 8 guns. A 32 crew is a good crew. You could probably do it with a crew of 16 and have them be unhappy.
Well, happiness is important.
Happiness is not important. But, I mean, it needs a proper crew of at least 32. And it's also a cargo ship, which means it's not, it's girded for war and has guns on it, which means you could actually, 8 guns is not a lot, but it's sizable. It's mostly a cargo ship, and that's a good candidate. Now, you'll learn something different when you talk I'm going to go ahead and use Western terms because I don't have my I don't have my Anatolian ones ready. But Madame Samira, who is a hippopotamus and is one of the local ability, can
That's
tell
one big
you.
bitch.
Hello, I'm one of the most dangerous animals in the world. Google hippopotamuses sometimes. They're fucking killers.
And that's why they're in charge now.
They're the deadliest animal, I think. They're the ones who kill the most humans per year.
That has something to do with the fact that humans are kind of stupid and think they don't do anything.
Well, that and also hippopotamuses are huge and can hold their breath for long periods of time, so they ford rivers just by walking across the bottom. So you'll be on the river, like swimming or your boat, and you'll bump into one, and it's going to go, that's it! I've just been looking for an excuse. They'll upset your boat and chew you with the big teeth and spit you out. They're I'm very excited to bring this book out because, like I said, they can hold their breath for a long period of time and then just jump right out and kill you. So I want you to be scared of Ada, but don't think you can run in the river and be safe because they're hippopotamus assassins in the river.
Yes.
Time to learn how to use the ultimate
character.
Ooh. The next character, the hippopotamus assassin. Create a hippopotamus assassins guild. Just stalk people. Never let them go near waterways. They either die by us killing them or just being fucking dehydrated.
Now, see that.
See, that would work if rain didn't exist.
No, shut up.
You don't understand. Hippos can hide in the rain. They're in the water droplets. They can hold their breath for a very long time.
Okay. Madame Samira will talk to you folks, and after a while, she'll. You spend a couple. She's also one of the people who likes to meet foreigners like yourself and ask interest. The more you talk to her, the more you get the idea that Madame Samira and the rest of her family, being locals and of money, remember a time back when the legitimate sultanate was in power. And so you guys kind of like don't deny, saying anything about Anatolians, but you kind of get the once you get graces like, oh, I'm sure everything was better when you nobles ruled everything instead of being ruled over by a foreign power. And I guess you guys schmooze just a little bit. I'm not going to ask you to roll like deceit or anything like that, but you get her talking, and she mentions that she has a stake in a frigate known as the Theophanes.
You spell that? Okay.
I put it in the chat. Okay. Now the Theophanes is a 14-gun frigate that has a crew of 60.
Okay.
And while she has a sizable stake in the boat, she doesn't have controlling interest. But she talks to more of you, and being that you're a foreign power, you manage to get in her good graces, and you get kind of the idea that she's looking to build up interest in foreign power. When one of you mentions, oh yeah, I am in line for the Rinaldi throne. I mean, sure, I don't have anything that actually proves I'm in line for the Rinaldi throne or have any written documentation, but I'm going to be king someday.
Pirates King, yes.
And she says, wow, if you're going to be king of the Rinaldi and have access to guns and a foreign power, I happen to be somebody who doesn't like the Anatolians, and I'm convinced that if we had an uprising, we could get rid of them. If you could promise me, you guys get the gist of it is she'll, sit there and tap her fingers together with her jewelry ringing. She says, if you can convince me, I'm willing to do you a favor. I'll sign over my 20% share of the ship to you in return for a letter and also in return for a letter of gratitude from you. You write a letter to me saying that I gave this to you and you thank me for it. So we have this being the Middle Ages, having a paper trail is very important. And she said, I'm not convinced that the captain of this ship, a jackal by the name of Captain Fowd, I'm not convinced that this boat, I want interest in it, and I think it would be a lot better if you controlled it. But if I give you I'll just give you my 20% stake in the boat, which gives you a reason to go anywhere you want on the boat because you're now a shareholder and could say, I want to see what my boat looks like. I would basically give you legitimate open access to it. But in return, I want you to sign a letter from me thanking me for it, and that says that if there's anything I can do for you later, you only have to ask. So I have a paper trail. So that way, when I come, to you looking for a favor later, I'm kind of being a little meta about this, guys, but basically, like this is the Game of Thrones thing, to where, since you'll actually write a letter and stamp it with your signet ring, this is proof that later, when if Madame Samira here gets in trouble with the law for being, I don't know, a treasonous rebel, there's a paper trail that you're her friend.
Ooh.
And in case she doesn't get in trouble with the law, she comes to you later and goes, I got your IOU. Come on.
Right. So, but, plus also she gives you the lead that she's not entirely happy with the way Fowd is running this frigate. Now, it's a much larger boat, as you can see. Also, it's a frigate, which is a warship, not a it's not a cargo ship with guns on it. It is a proper warship.
Ooh.
We could get this one, and
right,
we could
mute
me Fowd and put me in charge.
Right. Okay. Those are the two best leads. You also talk to a bunch of other people and get leads that just don't sound as good as these. Do you have any questions for me before I move on here about how you talk to the drunk perfumer and the seditionist?
Can I put in as like an aside the reason that she's willing to give us this this boat is because Captain Sam slept there?
You want to when you write her the letter?
Is that how we got in?
No, she no. In fact,
damn,
that's hilarious. He looks like a bag of twigs. You could try writing a letter that insults her, sure. So that way you'd have a letter that proves you're in league with a seditionist, and you insulted the seditionist too. So yes, I
in some circles, this might be called a dick move.
Yeah, actually, that's the phrase. I'm trying to figure out like what sort of thing we would call this, like inopportune or gauche. Oh, that's right. It would be a dick move. So while you could do that, do you really want to do a dick move to somebody who's willing to help just give you a 20% stake in a boat?
I mean, I want to give her my dick move.
We're streaming.
But it's also an
not
18
racist,
and up
it's okay.
stream, so it doesn't matter.
Well, that's what they. So unless you have more questions for me, I can go ahead and move on to the third part of the montage. If that's all right.
Okay.
Sounds like a pretty good deal.
All right, team, look at boats. Yep, those are boats, all right.
Yeah, those are boats.
I would like team look at boats to make a mind and observation and vehicles roll.
Could I substitute vehicles with craft? Did judge their worthiness as ocean-going vessels?
Not until you actually. I'm just gonna call for observation for this one because I will say because you have craft, you already weed out like boats that are obviously seaworthy.
Yeah, I knew that was gonna happen.
We did not declare he was helping me. That was just his role. Yeah, I was not task mastering him at all. So
right. For the record, I'm assuming you're both rolling independently because a botch ruins. If anyone who's assisting a task botches, they ruin it. There's a gift in the game called Team Player, which makes you a better assistant. And you may have noticed it shows up in many of the careers in the game. All right, so this is what So this is what's going to happen instead. The two of you just wander up and down the docks both day and night, since Ada has night vision. And you're a creepy centipede. Wee.
Does he like even have like arms and shit, or does he just like centipede crawl around?
He has multiple arms.
Oh,
Yeah.
Some of them are arms and some of them are legs.
I'm also ambidextrous. So means I
Right.
use all that shit.
I'm just picturing, like, okay, so there's this little water vole, like this little rodent guy just sitting on a barrel, and all by himself, and he's just he starts to peel a banana, and suddenly this his head pops up, says, "Hey, you see that boat over there?" Click, 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 click. And it's like, I go, "Yeah." Think it looks pretty seaworthy? I can see the way the joints are put together. Probably. All right, thanks.
What a fucking creep, am I right?
With one success, you look at multiple boats, but later on when you rendezvous with everyone, you manage to see both the Blue Harvest and the Theophanus are two of the boats that you will successfully look at. Okay.
Got it.
Okay. And from what they tell you, story checks out. They both look. I'm not gonna make you make a craft roll. They both look seaworthy, and yes, one of them is one of those weird cargo flutes with the weird bowed edges, but it does have guns on it. And the Theophanus is a much larger frigate. Both of them are currently docked. It looks like the Blue Harvest is loading up, like as in when you watch the Blue Harvest, people are loading and unloading cargo. Whereas the Theophanus, for the day or two that you watch it, there is just a skeleton crew on the ship. It doesn't look like it's going anywhere soon. Whereas the Blue Harvest might be sailing off pretty soon.
All right.
Okay. Meanwhile, Ada, who knew wandering around the bad side of wandering around the docks late at night might get you into trouble. In the night. All cats are gray, so two gray cats. One of them jumps out in front of you, and the other one cuts off your escape. They draw closer and also draw knives. They say, "Give us your money, lady, your GP or your HP."
Faster. Okay, hold on. I gotta...
Aren't Ada and I together?
Your HP. I like that.
Well, she rolled a 1, so no. Remember, you said you weren't together. You said, dude, you just went to this big speech.
No, I said that we weren't taskmastering together. I mean,
well, Ada wanders off and gets into a fight all
that's
by
fair.
themselves. Okay, so Ada, do you surrender your money or do something else?
You are built to fight. Don't be a bitch.
Rightio.
What's in your life quote?
A concealed, an illegal sword comes unconcealed.
Okay.
I pull it out.
And also, before we go any further, Ada, you do have deceit and sleight of hand. Do you want to do something else, like pretend to surrender and then stab somebody, or
You know what? That is a good idea.
or just turn and run, even though they close your escape? Or something else? What would you want to do?
No, let's pretend surrender. Let's Hitman then. Cut some guy's head off immediately.
All right. So, the one guy who cuts off your escape, they both have like basically shivs. They have like steel blades with cord wrapped around the edges. I mean, these are penny ante thieves. One of them comes closer to attempt to engage you. Now I'm going to do this really quick. This is going to go ahead and start a fight. So, as your first move, do you want to secretly draw a blade and stab him? Do you want to use brawling? Or do you want to pick his pocket? What do you want to do?
Straight up. I have a sleeve sword. I have a legerdemain, so I can draw item, my concealed weapon.
And you have a sleeve sword. I mean, basically, you're freaking assassin.
Yeah, I want to cut his head off, like straight up.
All right. Well, sleeve swords are usually stabbing, but let's see what happens.
No,
Why don't we just
punch? Like,
have you guys seen Assassin's Creed? You guys will see Assassin's Creed.
Has
you
anybody
literally
seen?
have You literally have that stabby weapon from Assassin's Creed.
That's what it is. I was thinking a little bit different design, but okay. Yeah, no, I'll stab him in the neck.
Unlike Assassin's Creed, instead of being this big giant gadget that is on the outside that everybody can see, they hide it because they're assassins.
I know, right?
Yeah. So and yeah, you're supposed to basically it's a punch dagger. You punch with it, and it slides out as you punch, and then locks into place.
Yeah, I'll hit him. I'm gonna basically try to stab him in the throat.
Right. Basically exactly like that. All right. He is surprised by this and will attempt to dodge. We're now going to do something in the game that's called a contest. Normally in the game, you just roll and 4s or better. But when it's an opposed roll that you're opposing someone else, we'll both roll, and whoever has the highest showing die is the winner. So, for example, I'm going to go ahead and roll my dodge. And when I roll my dodge, I rolled a 2 and a 5. So I have a 5. So I need you to go ahead and roll your attack. Now, your attack with the sleeve sword, I believe, is body and melee combat. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. Now, I'm wary of you, so you won't get a surprise bonus. Because, I'm frisking you, you might flinch or punch me or bite me or do something weird. So
will I roll deceit to try to hide that?
I'm already assuming that you're attacking him from surprise, but to actually get the surprise bonus, let's flip this around. If you were a player character and you were frisking someone down, I said, "Ha! He surprises you and stabs you." You would tell me, "Oh, no way in hell! I'd totally be ready for this," right?
Yeah. All right. I'll give you that.
All right. So when he pats you down, he tries to get it, and he's also he's not counterattacking, which I think is the good compromise because he's trying to get your money. All right. So you would go ahead and roll this. Now, did you take sneak attack? You don't actually have the sneak attack gift, do you?
No, I don't.
Okay, there's a specific sneak attack gift in the game that would give you an even bigger bonus.
Yeah, I have a billion things I have to get.
Which of the forest ghost gifts did you take?
I took their trappings and the insiders, so I can actually start taking
okay, so you didn't take the 2d8 concealed weapon thing.
Right.
No, I have the same sword.
Ada's level 1.
No, he had the option. He had the option.
I need you to go ahead and roll your attack dice with this, which I believe is body and melee combat.
Right, so I have 3 marks and 3 from my career. So a D8.
Right, so you get a D8 from your career, and you get a D8 from your 3 marks, and then you also get your body. Yep.
All right, hold on a second. How do I actually?
You would type in /roll, and what is your body?
A D6. And I have 2 D8s.
Right. So the way I would do it is.
Oh, hold on. One of those is a 98.
Well, as your GM said.
But do you see how I would? That's how I would type it. I'm sure there's more than one way to do it.
Yeah,
okay.
I know. I got it.
Sorry, it's hard for me to type in this window because I'm constantly getting pop-ups from Discord
did
and whatnot
I beat him?
to hide that. You have rolled an 8, which is higher than my 5. So you win.
Okay,
and that's a 1-point win. Your ties don't count, so the 5 doesn't count. Only the wins. You roll higher than me. Ties are a special case, and not in this case. So it's a 1-point hit. Awesome. What is now a sleeve sword list that does damage, right? It says damage
+2 impale.
Right. Okay. So here's the deal behind that: is you get 1 point of damage for 1 success. So you have 1 success, that's 1 point. It has a +2 damage bonus, that's 3. And impale, I will take basically double damage, more or less, unless I back away from you. All right. So the sleeve sword is incredibly deadly if you attack people when they can't back away, like when they're up against the wall. And also, one of the reasons why you have brawling is so you can grab someone 1 round and then stab them the next round. And if you've got them grabbed, they can't retreat. So when you stab him in the throat, he backs off. Like you basically punch him in the throat and he stumbles to the side. He takes 3 points of damage. Let's see if he can stomach 3 points of damage. All right. So when he's hit for 3 points of damage, every 4 or better soaks removes 1 point of damage because he rolls a soak. He's rolled 2 4s or better, so he takes your 3 points of damage and reduces it to 1. So you punch him in the throat and get a glancing blow. All right, and so he's bleeding. He is only hurt by your attack. So
yeah.
So you rolled good enough to hit. So, and he's also hurt, and any hit in the game also stuns him. So he's stunned and sent reeling. You're a level 1 assassin. Okay, so you punch him in the throat. Okay, his action. That's end of your turn. I'll quickly do the bad guys. The one guy who is guarding the alleyway says, "Hey," and comes at you with his knife. You could either choose to dodge and roll your speed and dodge, or you could counterattack and roll that same melee dice and attack him. And if you win, not only does he miss you, but you do damage to him.
What do you recommend?
Always counter. Your dice are bigger and better.
I'm gonna counter. So
I'm looking right now, and what's your dodge? 2d8?
Let me just check. It's actually a D8 and a D6. Oh.
Right. So your countering dice is more. So I'm looking at you. You'll always counter. Some other people might do other stuff, but you would counter. So go ahead and roll the 2d8 and the 2d6 again as he comes at you with the knife.
Oh shit! I think I just fucking annihilated it.
Bad news. I rolled a 6, which means I screen out that tie.
Yeah, but I still got 2 of them.
But you got 2 successes plus 2, so that's 4 successes. So you will hit him. He will soak none of that. All right, so he goes down. So this is what happened. To recap this, the guy went to go frisk you, like to get your money, and you went and the first guy backs up, and the other guy goes, "Hey, what are you doing?" and comes at you, and you go, and that guy just like looks at the sword in his gut, stares at a moment, and then falls over. Okay. Nice. I haven't done the second guy yet. He sees his friend go down, sees you have a sword, sees your quality of your success. He turns around and runs away, leaving his friend to bleed to death. This ends the fight.
What a nice guy.
All right.
So basically, you just wander now, and of course, for those of you watching the stream, I want to point out that was really quick. I assume you loot the guy.
Yeah, I'll loot him. Anything worthwhile, and then I'll kick his body into the ocean.
Good plan. Good news. There's no one around. These guys have the proper skills of finding a good ambush spot. You search his body. He has a whopping 2 dinars and a shitty knife.
I'll throw the knife in the ocean too. I don't.
Right. I mean, like really great here. I mean, you just kind of shrug. It wasn't worth your time.
But hey, money.
Yeah.
Fuck it. I'm just taking the money.
Threw your life away for 2 silvers. What the hell's wrong with you?
Oh, now he's drowning.
Later, when you find Fang, what do you tell him?
Yeah, it's. I think I'm better at finding fights than I am actually, finding ships.
Wait, you got into a fight?
What, you can't tell? Oh yeah, that's right. They can't fucking hit this.
Fuck.
I assume you carry a handkerchief to clean off your.
Yeah,
your blade.
Carrying a minor, my handkerchief.
Yeah, so to
anybody asks to say I have.
Well, Fang, if it makes you feel any better, if Ada defeated them in 1 round, they probably weren't worthy.
Yeah, but how else do I get my exercise?
Okay, the rest of you will rendezvous together, and basically, once again, you can talk to each other about that. I need to go off mic for a minute.